Welcome to Surfside Stories. I am so privileged today to have sitting beside me right here in the studio one of the most talented, one of the most beautiful female vocalists in beach music. Laura Kepley has really, the last few years, exploded on the beach market. Had some really great hits, and we love seeing her live and love hearing her on the radio. Anywhere we can go, she's one of the best. Laura, glad to have you with us.
Thank you, Wayne. I'm honored that you would ask me.
But here's the deal. People know you now. We do. But we don't know anything about you. We don't know who you were when you sang your first song, or it's in church or kindergarten or where. We'd like to know how you came up to the music world and then how you got into the tones.
Okay.
So you take it and you run with it, girl.
Gracious. Okay. Well, I don't really remember my first public performance, but the story my mother and my brother always tell is that you could hear me before you saw me. And I was always in front of my mirror in my bedroom from about 2 years old, hairbrush microphone, singing at the top of my lungs. And I had my record player going, and whether it was the soundtrack to Grease or a Linda Ronstadt album or Olivia Newton-John, I was obsessed with Grease and Olivia Newton-John. I was always singing. And they said, she's going to be a performer soon. We don't know when or how, but we know she's going to be a performer. But I did grow up like most people singing in the church. So that probably was my first public performance.
Okay.
And it was probably early 5 or 6 years old, but I can't recall it offhand. But came from a musical family. My mother has more musical theater on her side. A lot of people were instrumentalists or in plays, musicals, but my dad was really the musician in our family. He was in a kind of a Southern rock band back in the 70s in the San Antonio area, which is why I have a great love for Linda Ronstadt. I grew up listening to that Tex-Mex music. My dad played bass. And so I grew up always with music in the house.
So you did grow up in San Antonio?
No, but my parents lived there. They were stationed there right before I was born.
Okay, so
I was born in Salisbury, North Carolina, original home of the Carolina Beach Music Awards, which is my claim to fame, and that's where I have now chose to reside. I'm back in my hometown. I've come full circle. But I was born there in Salisbury. But my dad traveled extensively in the 70s with his band. So when I was little, I wanted to be a guitar player like him, but I just couldn't kind of catch on to that. So I chose piano as my instrument.
Okay.
So started taking piano lessons. I was very blessed in high school with an opportunity. My high school would allow student accompanists. And so I was already the church pianist. And then I got to broaden that.
Were you church pianist?
14, 15. Yeah. And I just, in high school, that was an amazing experience getting to do that for full choral groups, helping other students with their auditions. I always say, this is the difference between in the tones, Eric and I. Eric is a great performer. He's a lead piano player. I could do it if I really, really, really tried. That does not come naturally to me. I'm more the background. I love to accompany other people. That's not the performer side of the piano, but I'm glad I have the skill as an instrumentalist.
Both of those are important.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just a different side to it. But I always knew my voice was going to be my instrument that I was going to take and run with.
And boy, is it.
Oh,
it is.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I never really, until college, I decided to major in music. That was kind of a turning point for me.
Where did you go to college?
I started at Bluefield College in Virginia, West Virginia borderline. It's now Bluefield University. It's much bigger than when I went there 25 years ago. Long time ago. And then I transferred midpoint.
I would normally ask at this point, did you start college at age 12?
Yes. No. No.
Go ahead.
But my school was going through a great bit of transition, and money was a factor for me. So I transferred midpoint back to the East Coast in Virginia, where I had grown up most of my life. My parents are both military, so moved around quite a lot. But my mom had been at Fort Eustis for a long time, Hampton Roads, Virginia. That's the bulk of where I spent.
Okay.
I spent almost 25 years of my life there in Williamsburg, Gloucester, that area of the East Coast. But I transferred back to Christopher Newport University, and they were going through a bit of a transition too. And between the two schools, I was told that if I wasn't going to be a serious opera singer, I should hang music up. So to a young, impressionable 19, 20, 21-year-old, I took that to heart, and I wish I hadn't. But you know, if we only knew now, you know, back then, we would have made different decisions. And so after that, I decided not to be a music teacher.
So you went into vocal training for
Yes.
opera.
Yes. For opera, I was gonna be a high school music teacher. That was my vision to just do the teaching.
Okay.
But I was told by both schools that if you didn't have the voice for opera, you were basically wasting your time. They didn't talk to us about opportunities to be professional musicians in other ways. And I was too young and stupid to know the difference. So
you may have been stupid. You may have been young.
Yeah, I mean, young and impressionable. So I gave up. Unfortunately, I gave up on the teaching dream. But now in hindsight, I can say I'm grateful for the education and the foundation that I got during college. It served me well. During college, I was trying to pay for college, and somebody encouraged me to start doing pageants. So I delved into the Miss America organization.
No,
Yes, I won my first local when I was 19 and got to go to Miss Virginia pageant. I got to go back 2 more times in the following 5 years. I won talent one year. I was a top 10 finalist at Miss Virginia one year. And those 5 years in that system, I really got bit by the performance bug. And I was blessed to network and meet some really incredible people across the state of Virginia that encouraged me to be a performer. And then I did have it in me. And I can't thank some of those people enough for bringing my drive back, because I was so crushed by some of the teachers that told me, if you can't pigeonhole and do this one thing, hang it up. And I did for a couple of years. But then I had some great people encourage me and say, no, there's more opportunities out there. You just got to go find them.
Okay, I got to ask this. What did you do for talent? Sing or play the piano?
No, I did. I sang. I was kind of in a musical theater era of my life back then. So in fact, the final year that I had won one of the non-finalist talent awards, and then I went into the top 10, I actually did "Don't Rain on My Parade."
Okay, and remember that song?
There's video of that out there somewhere. I need to be on YouTube. But that was a lot of fun back in the musical theater time. But after that, I decided to just go for it. And so go for performing.
Okay.
And I didn't know what that was going to entail. This was the early 2000s. This was before American Idol. This was before, I don't know if people remember on USA Network, Nashville Star. This was before that. There was a reality show. It was short-lived. It was called the Colgate Country Showdown. Do you remember that?
That one. I do not.
It was one of the first early reality shows. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. And so I went and auditioned. And I made it almost to the semifinals of the state round in Virginia.
Okay.
And back then I changed my mind. I want to be a country star. The Colgate Country Showdown, of course, was going to be a country music star. I was going to be the next Martina McBride in my own.
Oh, okay. I love that.
I had all these crazy, crazy dreams.
Oh, they're not crazy.
Some
people, there would be crazy dreams. They're not you. Trust me.
That was a fun time in life. I even had the offer of a very small recording contract to come out to Nashville and give it a go. But after reading through the contract, realized I didn't want to sell my soul. Like so many of them, a lot of people think it's awesome to be a celebrity and to be famous. And, there's so much that goes along with those types of lifestyles that people don't talk about. And I knew that wasn't for me. So
you ever read an entertainment contract?
Yeah, some of them make your head spin.
A lot of respect.
And I wasn't sure I was ready for that. So I politely declined. But again, had an experience that showed me what worked, what didn't. So I kept going out for more things. I auditioned for bands. I auditioned for tours. I auditioned for musicals. I auditioned to even work at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. I wanted to be in one of their musical shows for the summer, and I got no after no after no after no. And but that's the way of the music business.
Yeah.
If you don't have thick skin and you can't take rejection, you're going after the wrong thing, because there's gonna be a ton of no's before there's that one magical yes. And that finally came for me in 2006. I had a friend, they could not fill the last remaining role of an Indian girl, kind of like a Pocahontas type, in this traveling East Coast tour. They were doing a musical for the city of Jamestown. I lived in Williamsburg. We were coming up on the 400th anniversary of America.
Okay.
And they were going to take this traveling tour up the East Coast, and they had hired everybody except the Indian.
I remember when that was touring.
Yeah.
I certainly do.
And
that was a big deal.
I went after it. They were like, come in. We just can't fill the spot. So I went and auditioned. I had long jet black hair at the time, which greatly helped me. The deal. But they said, come in. It's the strangest audition. They did a small dance audition, and they said, we want you to sing the Star Spangled Banner. And I said, really? And they said, well, yeah, if you can sing something from that kind of range, going here to here, we'll know you can do the part. And I nailed it, and I got it.
Wow.
And that was my first musical experience.
Okay.
Packing my bags, hopping on a tour bus, and we were gone. And we were in Boston. We were in Philadelphia. We were in New York City. We were in Baltimore, all harbor towns up and down the East Coast. And I was on stage in front of thousands and thousands of people, 3 shows a day, big festival. And that was an eye-opening experience for me. But I learned that life on the road isn't for me. That was a great experience to learn that.
How long were you on?
We were gone about 4.5 months.
Okay.
Start to finish. And then we got back. We also had some activities there in the Williamsburg area. The most exciting end of my contract was we did a PBS History Channel special for the 400th anniversary with news anchor Gwen Eiffel, who's now passed from PBS. She used to moderate the presidential elections and all.
Yeah.
Amazing woman. And getting to work with her and the History Channel, that was my first real big TV experience too, which was really, really exciting. So I'm really grateful for that tour and what it taught me. And I said, you know what, from now on, I'm not going to sweat the no's, because the more no's I get, the bigger yes, it's somewhere out there. I just haven't found it yet. So fast forward, I moved back to North Carolina. That was a big jump for me. My whole family, my mother, my father, we all decided to move back to Salisbury to be closer to our family.
Okay.
And I had been in Virginia for 25 years where everybody knew me. And now I came down here and nobody knew. And that's hard to start over again as a performer.
Yes.
And I looked and looked for opportunities to sing, and I couldn't find anything. And a band found me. 2012, 2013, I was singing at a local event, and somebody from the Salisbury Swing Band Orchestra approached me when I came off the stage. I had sang that night, believe it or not, I did Dusty Springfield's cover of Elvis.
Yeah.
You Don't Have to Say You Love Me.
Yeah. And
he said, that's a really odd choice of song for someone your age. Do you happen to like older music? Well, I said, that's a strange question. I said, yeah, I have a great appreciation for all music. And I said, what do you mean by it? And he told me that the orchestra was losing their lead singer. Would I come and audition for them? And I was like, you got to be kidding me. The chance to sing with a big band. Now, this for me is a past music major in college. This was something I'd always dreamed about. And these opportunities don't come often, And went and auditioned, got the gig. And for the next 7 years, I was so blessed to sing the Great American Songbook night after night. The Glenn Miller hits, the Gershwins, Hoagie Carmichael, Johnny Mercer, just all the greats.
I got to tell you, I know that group well. I was a trustee of Heroic Spirits.
Yes, I remember you telling me that.
And I saw that group many times, and they were fantastic.
Yes.
Very talented, everyone in that group. And when they got you as a lead singer, they had the best.
Thank you. That
was a great group to be with.
I was blessed to be Dr. Stephen Edders, who now has retired and lives in Wilmington. He was the director at the time, amazing trombone player. I learned so much from him. He was the dean of music at the time at Catawba College.
Yeah.
And just a wealth of musical knowledge. And I really got to grow as a performer and as an MC, because he would let me do a little history synopsis before every song at our shows, which the crowd, I mean, I appreciate that. I love to learn the history of the song that I'm singing. And I know you said kind of about the podcast, you delve into these stories of how these beach music songs came along. And I love hearing the stories behind the music, stories behind the people, the songwriters, the singers.
And that's what we're looking for from you.
Yeah.
And that's what we're getting. I love it.
Well, that leads me to today. I was blessed to be with him for 7 years. And then I said, well, I'm ready to move on to the next thing. And I put myself on an online music billboard, kind of like a want ads thing. And one day, our former saxophone player, Jason Barker, who just recently left the group this past year for family reasons. His son is a budding baseball player now. We're so proud of him. I got a text message from Jason. Hey, I know you're in a swing band orchestra. Do you ever sing pop, rock, or beach music? And I said, no, not really. But no, that's actually something I've really never done. And he said, hey, we need a new vocalist. Would you come and audition for us?
Question. Did you know what beach music was at that time? And what is beach music?
Great question. So I knew it on a very small scale. Now, this might come as a surprise. I'm from Salisbury, original home of Carolina Beach Music Awards, we said. And I left for 25 years, came back as an adult. When I started with the swing band, I heard for the first time in my life at age 32, 33, first song I ever heard was Jackie Gore's I Love Beach Music. And Dr. Edders said, do you know the song? And I said, no, I don't. He said, well, you got to learn. And we did a few beach songs in my swing big band.
Awesome.
We did I Love Beach Music. We did, of course, the Catalina's Summertime is Calling Me. We did the Tams, Be Young, Be Foolish. We did some of the big ones, the classics. So I told Jason, I know a few, but I don't know a lot. Before I auditioned, I actually met Jonathan for dinner, kind of like a business meeting, get to know you, who you are.
Oh, where did that go?
All together. But that very first dinner, instant friendship, I want to say, by the way. We laughed and laughed for the fact that we had so many childhood mutual friends, because he grew up in Gold Hill, right around the corner from Salisbury. So in fact, one of our mutual childhood best friends, when he found out I had started singing in the Tones, couldn't believe that Jonathan and I had never crossed paths or met. It was very odd. And he knew my family long before he knew me. Okay. In fact, our home now is 30 seconds around the corner from my childhood home my father built.
Really?
My father and my uncle actually helped Jonathan grade and plumb the land that our house is on now years ago, before we ever met. Which is like, it kind of comes full circle.
What a coincidence.
That's one of those serendipity stories, absolutely, that's meant to be. But great first meeting. And we talked about what the Tones were and what beach music was, and kind of what that whole industry and lifestyle was like. And I was intrigued. I'd done variety party bands, weddings before, but this was something different. Beach music and festivals and the whole concept of the shaggers. It was something so new. And I was excited to learn a piece of Carolina history that I should have known, but I had never really been exposed to.
I had no reason to know.
Yeah. Actually, I grew up in the Virginia Beach area, but Myrtle Beach wasn't someplace we came to ever growing up.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really exposed to this whole concept.
Okay.
If you had told me 7 years ago where that conversation would have led to today, I would have told you you were crazy. And I'm trying not to get emotional right now.
Well, you have the right to get emotional. This is an important part of your life.
I am so honored. I joined the Tones at a very pivotal time in their career. And Jonathan and Bradley have a long history in Carolina Beach music.
Okay.
They were original members of Atlanta Groove 15, 20 years ago. They had sang at the Carolina Beach Music Awards.
Where's Atlanta Groove?
Atlanta Groove.
Atlantic Groove.
Atlanta Groove, the band.
Yeah.
Phil Lauder of The Entertainer used to be in. They were a fantastic band. About to say one of my favorite songs, "Crazy About That Woman in Red," was a top hit song for them. So Bradley and Jonathan have been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
And they put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into developing the Tones. And they worked hard. And year after year, they got better and better, hit song after hit song. And I was very blessed to join them at the midpoint, gaining momentum. Okay. I hate that right when I joined, we had Empty Chair, top of the charts in 2019.
Okay.
And then COVID hit. 6 months into this exciting new journey, I'm learning all these new songs, meeting all these new people. And let me say, the Carolina Beach music fans are the best.
Family.
I have met fans that have turned into friends that have turned into family.
They are.
People I can dial on my phone.
Yeah.
Some people that I consider aunts, uncles, extra set of parents.
It's awesome.
It is. It's extended. It's extended my family, my immediate family, in ways I never expected. And it blows my mind how some people will come to 12, 20, 30 shows in 1 year. And I always ask them, aren't you tired of hearing these songs over and over again, especially by us? And they'll say, no, we wouldn't miss it for the world. And that is the most outrageous compliment in the world. It's so humbling.
It is such a truthful compliment.
Oh, that's our biggest goal. The only reason we get on stage is because we love what we do, and we want the audience to have the time of their life while they're there, singing along, dancing, clapping. We want people to have a ball. That's the whole purpose of sharing this amazing music.
We have some of the family that like certain bands, some like certain songs, and some just like beach music.
In general, exactly.
And they want to go see a good show anywhere. And you guys put on a great show. And you got a cross of music in it. You just got a lot of beach music, but you got some other things in there. Real lively rock stuff that keeps the crowd going.
I shared the stage with 7 guys, and I say I would be remiss to leave them out. I'm not a solo act anyway. That's right. And they come from all walks of life and bring so much to our band. Now, we all, with the exception of our bass player, who decided to retire this last year, lucky him, we all have full-time jobs on the side. If you didn't know this, I'll give you a little background on the Tones real quick.
Please do.
Micah, our bass player, is recently retired, so he's enjoying the good life right now.
Okay.
He has a big country music background. Jonathan and Eric on the side, on the front with me as well, have a big country background. We love to say, if you don't know this about Jonathan, he used to be a Toby Keith impersonator.
Okay.
And he was a really good one. He grew his long curly hair out, and that was a big part of his musical life. But Jonathan is a salesman with building supply. He's also a licensed contractor and engineer. John can build you a house.
Wow. That's good to know.
Our keyboard player, Eric, who's an amazing songwriter, he runs his own successful automotive business during the week. Our drummer, Bradley, lives here in North Myrtle Beach. He runs a successful pressure washing business. And
Bradley quite often, obviously.
Our horn section, we have a couple different guys. Wami is a music teacher, our trumpet player. Our other trumpet player, Bob, who lives out here on the coast.
Yes.
He is a regional manager with Smithfield Foods. And then our trombone player, horn section leader, Ken Davis Jr., who we are so lucky to have, writes all of our amazing horn charts. He is a former adjudicator, teacher, professor. He's one of the most sought after horn players in the Carolinas. He subs with Chicago Rewired, with the Catalinas. Just he is on the top of people's lists, and we're so blessed to have him. So we have all different walks of life in our band. And if I would say people don't know, I recently quit hospitality. I had been a bartender, restaurant manager for about 28 years, and I just went back into finance. So by day, I am an executive assistant secretary in financial firm. So
y'all do a lot of shows
yeah,
and a lot of traveling. But you're doing, tell me again, every day you're in the office.
Yeah, so we all have full-time jobs, but we somehow pull 50 to 70 live shows off a year. I don't know how we do it. We appreciate the sacrifice of our families because we're away from home a lot. Jonathan and I are very blessed that we get to do this on the road together.
Yeah.
The other guys, they sacrifice a lot, and we cannot thank our spouses enough for being understanding, children for being understanding. Couldn't do it without a support system.
Absolutely, yeah.
But like we said, COVID hit 6 months into the Tones. It didn't shut us down, though. We had a hit song on the radio, Scallywags out in New London, which is very close to Salisbury. We're very grateful. They kept a lot of beach music going for us in that area because people weren't allowed to travel at that time. So we couldn't come all the way to the beach for that whole year, but we were still able to keep Carolina beach music going. And to our surprise, that November, we finally won the Best New Artist Award in 2020. And that was thrilling. So thrilling.
That's so well deserved.
Thank you. The Tones, just like I said, I'm blessed to share the stage with those musicians every single performance. But the biggest thrill for me came a few months after that. I'm gonna tell you a fun little story. So I told you, very first beach music song I ever learned was Jackie Gore's I Love Beach Music. And so I started delving into the history, trying to learn who these people were, what these songs were about. And I found out, by everybody telling me, but on my own, that Jackie's daughter, Terry, who the original Carolina Beach girl was. Because John told me, you need to look up these other women. He's like, I want you to look up Marsha Morgan. I want you to look up Terry. I want you to watch these videos, listen to these recordings. I want you to learn what it is to be a female in this industry. And I don't know if maybe Lisa, I know you've already talked to Lisa Hudson, who is a dear friend, love her. It's different to be a girl in this industry. We have to, like all things in life, I don't want to get feminist.
No, absolutely not.
We have to fight a little.
These are the things we want to hear.
We have to fight a little harder. We have to work a little harder. This is a very male-driven industry.
Yeah, very much.
And we're very grateful that the girls get to play a little bit, and us girls have to stick together. And so I knew I had to start cultivating some friendships within the industry. And in April of 2021, I got Scallywags one day, and I look across the room and I nudged Jonathan. We were just there to have fun that day. I can't remember what band was playing. And I said, Jonathan, Terry's here. He said, yeah, she's right over there. I said, would you introduce me? He's like, yes, I will introduce you. I was like, because I'm dying to meet her, dying to meet her in person, dying to pick her brain. So Jonathan walks me over, and before he can ever even make the introduction, this just floored me. And this was to tell you the type of person Terry is. Terry saw me, and her eyes got big and her face lit up. And I'm thinking, what's going on? I've never met Terry Gore. And she booked it right towards me. And she threw her arms around me.
That is Terry.
And I said,
that is Terry.
I'm like, really, what is going on? And I said, it's such an honor. I said, Terry, I've been dying to meet you. And you know what she said to me?
What?
She said, Laura Kepley, I've been dying to meet you.
And Terry meant it.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, I have been dying to meet this little girl who has started a fire, who people keep telling me reminds them, me at her age. She's going to be the next thing. And she's like, I've been dying to meet you as much as you've been dying to meet me. And I was floored.
And she's a great friend.
Instant friendship. Terry is like my big sister, my aunt, my mother, all rolled into one. I can't appreciate her enough and what she's done for me in the last 6 years. She will always make time for me, even at big events when we get to the Beach Music Awards every year. If she spots me at a show or at a club, she will beeline, take my hand. We go somewhere private, and she will make sure we have at least 20, 30 minutes together to catch up, to talk, to brainstorm. She's amazing.
Oh yeah,
she's amazing.
Great person.
The fact that I can call an icon in this industry a friend, a dear friend like that, she gives me tough love. She gives me critiques and criticism that I need, because she says, I want you to keep carrying this legacy on. I want you to be the next big thing. And
I gotta tell you,
I am so blessed to have that woman in my life. And
this is one of the things I love about you. You do not have that ego. You think that you're here when you're up here already.
No,
you are. And I'm going to elaborate just a second. Talking about the women in the Lisa made a statement. No woman has ever won Entertainer of the Year. And that's an excellent example of what you just.
Hey, voters, let's change that this year. Shameless little plug. And and I know somebody had told me, I guess we'd have to go back in the archives and see, because I don't know how young Terry or Jim were, because I know they've been in this industry a long time. But somebody told me they thought that I was one of the youngest to ever be on the list.
Terry won female vocalist the second year. But I do not know what her age was. But when we get out there, we're going to call
but for the entertainer list, which I'll tell you, I don't take that lightly. And you could have knocked me over last year when my name was on there. You could have knocked me over with a feather. Because to be on a list with Jim Quick and Craig Woolard, I mean, giant.
And you deserve to be there. You did. I mean, you earned every bit of what you put into the beach music industry.
Again, I'll say, I love what I do. It's an honor to get up on stage. Our bandmates, I love to hear Bradley and Jonathan. They had a lot of time they spent with the chairman of the board. They knew General very well. They knew Danny very well. They were backup band for Danny Woods a long time. And I love to hear them tell stories about those guys. The passion behind the performance.
And eventually I'm going to have those.
Oh, those guys. They said Danny would get up on stage and give a performance and go so hard, they would have to carry him to his car. The poor man could hardly walk. And that's the type of entertainer I want to be.
100%.
Yeah, I want to give the fans what they deserve. I want to give them the choreography. I want to give them the passion in the performance. We want to give them the amazing live music that they deserve. We just want to give them. We want to give them everything, because beach music is so exciting.
It is. I got to tell you, our time is up.
Oh my goodness!
All right, I told you it would go fast.
So fast,
folks. You just heard from our first solo female in the podcast, and she brought us some stories and a lifestyle which we all will remember for a long time. And we know her much better now. We know how she fought to get where she is. We love her already, but now we appreciate how she got there. Folks, you can listen to this one 2 or 3 times, but you're going to learn something new every time. One more thing.
I just want to close with, again, I thank my bandmates, and I'm so grateful for them every day. The entity we have built, this brand, the Tonez, we're the beach music / fun party disco band. We're the sequins of the industry. A lot of people say, I am so grateful for them and what we've built. We've grown. We've climbed a ladder. We're up for 8 nominations this year.
And you've done it together. Together.
Thank you to the fans for letting us
be a part of this industry.
Thank you.
That speaks volumes about where you are in this industry.
We want to carry it on. We hope that Flip Flops lives on in beach music for as long as Carolina Girls does.
John wrote a good song.
Oh, John wrote an amazing
song.
Thank you, fans, for loving on it. And we want to keep Carolina beach music alive.
Thank you. That's what we all want to do. That's the reason we're here today. Everyone, thank you so much. Check back next week. Surfside Stories. We'll have another story. But meanwhile, you be sure to watch this one when it comes up. You'll get quite a few PRs before you get this one. I'll tell you what. Loving this one. You
Thank
did a
you.
great job.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Goodbye.